They say change comes when a vibrant civil society or societies exist in any developed nation. When you take a look at the African context, are we better off with a lot more civil societies, or how well is it exactly worked out for most African climes? These are some of the questions I hope to ask my guest today. Well, she's got over 10 years, or about 10 years experience working in the civic space on issues such as gender and HIV, programming. And one thing that will strike you about my guest is how she introduces herself. I've heard her do it several times, and she goes in with, "My name is Zanelle. I'm from the beautiful kingdom of Eswatini." Eswatini. One of the things we do on this program is to get people to, know a lot more about the continent. Well, you find out more about that. My guest is Zanelle Thabede. It's good to have you.
Hi Tunde, thank you very much for having me on your show. And yes, I'm Zanelle Thabede from Eswatini.
You didn't put the beautiful there. I don't like you very much right now.
Okay, definitely. Obviously, it's a beautiful kingdom. Everybody knows that.
I just like the way you say it. You go on the kingdom and it was like, oh, like, yeah. So tell us something about Eswatini that, most Africans watching this right now do not know.
Well, basically, Eswatini is a very small country that is a kingdom, one of the lasting kingdoms in Africa, and it's a culturally rich country that basically our income and mining is sugarcane. We have some Swazi sweet gold.
So you know where to get some sweetness when you need some. Eswatini. All right. So I want to know more about your journey into the civic space. Was it the life you chose? Did it choose you? Was it something that happened that got you into it?
Well, basically, I would say it chose me. It was a life that chose me because I was in university in the University of Swaziland, and I was pursuing my law degree when I had to repeat a subject, so I got a job, and my job was data collection for an HIV study, and that is when I actually explored Eswatini because I'm born in urban area and I had never been so far and deep in the rural areas. I've been to rural area. I mean, most people in Eswatini have a town home and they have a rural home. But my rural home is not so far from the town. It's about 30 minutes drive, 30 minutes an hour. So I got to explore rural Eswatini and I was like, whoa.
You saw a totally different side.
Totally different side. I saw HIV. I saw women being the face of HIV, and I thought I need to get into this.
Okay, because my next question actually was, the fact that you wear two caps. So I had to step thinking of what am I going to ask her? Is it like, is there an intersection, or is there an area where, are these just two opposing ideals right here? And you just mentioned that you had an encounter with, people with the HIV situation, the AIDS situation, and then you saw a lot of women. So tell me more about that.
Okay, so when I started working as a data collector for an international organization called CIT, Canadian based, the whole research study was about how to influence social behavior change when it comes to HIV. It involved us actually taking a rapid test of people, not telling them their results right there and then, but just taking the blood samples and asking them a few questions about their behavior. And obviously, it's a research study, so we're there during the daytime. And what we found, household to household, it's always a young woman, either with a baby on their back or looking after a baby. And the men were out somewhere. We didn't have so much that we had to go back to actually get the sample size to be gender inclusive of both men and women. We'd have to go back later on in the evening when the men is back from work. So this research study continued to have some programs that were being piloted after the findings of the research. And when we piloted it, it was more women are HIV positive. Men kind of like blame women for their HIV status, you know. So I thought women are carrying the burden of this disease, and of course, because we were not telling the men their HIV status, women have more encounters with the health facilities because she's more likely to be pregnant and she needs to go to the health. So she gets more HIV testing, so her likelihood of knowing her status is higher. So when the woman comes back and says, I'm HIV positive, it became kind of like you brought this thing here.
Oh.
You see. So it was quite a journey. We had a 5-year project. I got to know these women. I got to implement projects with them, and I thought, you know what, I need to make a change when it comes to the face of women, because they're the face of poverty, they're the face of HIV, and that's where my journey started with civil society and the women's movement.
All right, so you mentioned I'm very good, like with listening, and so you mentioned, the women's movement right now. So it means, it's just gone beyond, HIV/AIDS to the women's movement. In what aspect? But hold on, wait a minute. Before we get there, I wanted to ask you. You've seen the situation in Eswatini, and you also traveled. When you take a look at the context in Africa, the dynamics change when it comes to the causes, all of this.
Okay, I think it is kind of peculiar from country to country, but pretty much when it comes to the SADC region, it's almost the same. I've been in forums with other colleagues from other countries, and it's the same. Because women visit the health facility more often, they are more likely to find out their status before they are pregnant. And it's more likely that the stigma will be more exerted on the woman. Self-stigma, of course, and also the family will start discriminating against this woman, and it plays out like that. And yeah,
you're absolutely right. I remember a conversation I had with a male friend where it was an opportunity to get tested, and he said, "No, I know I'm good." And I said, then I wasn't married, so I looked at him and was like, "What do you mean you're good? You should do this. Like, this is you. Like, just go do the blood test." And it's like, I know, because my wife's pregnant, so from time to time she has to do the pregnancy test. So if she's clean, I'm clean. So it does make sense now that you say it. But then we've seen at the point we did have an increase in this curve when it comes to HIV/AIDS. But thank God, all of that's changing right now. But then again, what one behavioral change, or what one thing do you think could help change this situation? In terms of, we might say it's on the low right now, but what one thing do you think isn't being done right now that could totally change how we handle the HIV/AIDS?
definitely, because like when you look at the HIV prevention and prevalence rates, you find that it is kind of like dropping. Things are changing. But when you look at the incidence is high. So there are new infections, but at the same time, people who are HIV positive are being well managed. And this is definitely, and like it's a good thing. And we put that on the treatment and what we're doing with treatment. It's a very wonderful thing. I don't want to seem like I'm ungrateful for treatment, but I think one thing that we need to do is tailor make our programs to fit the people the program is made for.
What do you mean? Can you explain that?
I mean, if you're going to give someone treatment, make sure they understand the treatment. Make sure they're going to administer the treatment, because you cannot, basically in this day and age, if someone is taking their treatment right, they can't pass on HIV. So if we see that people are actually tested, they are going to collect the treatment. I'm not talking to them, they might not be taking it. Okay? They're going to collect the treatment from the health facility, but the incidence is still high, which means something is wrong.
So they're not using the drugs?
Exactly.
Why?
Because
It's commonsensical.
They don't understand the drugs. They're getting basically not I wouldn't say not good information, but they have questions. And you know what happens in health facilities because of health workers not being enough? There's no time for a client to ask any questions. It's like,
So it's not
yay, CD4 count, viral suppressed, go to virology, go collect your type of thing. So the person is not, and when they do information sessions, it's like with everyone there. with everyone, not even just HIV
So
positive patients, and it's just like a 5 minute talk, and so we need to kind of like find strategies to go back. I know when I started working within HIV sector, the programming was more on social behavior change. It was more on someone understanding the virus and actually making the choice to go to the clinic and take the treatment. But now it's more about numbers, 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 numbers. This is the only way we can cut down incidents. But see, the incidence is not coming down.
and thank you. I don't know, but I just never really understood it until you explained it to me this way. And it's interesting because it's an issue that cuts across the continent. Let's move back to the question I was going to ask you about this. You spoke about gender, the HIV situation, and now you're more into the women movement. And so, even as we wrap up, in a bit, the conversation about feminism, it's been a really divided one for most people who don't understand it. The typical definition of feminism for some someone who believes in women's equality, but then again, we've seen different angles to it, and the concept of African feminism comes in place. Like it's totally different from what you have out there, and I just wanted to get your take on this.
Okay, I think when it comes to feminism, maybe I'll just kind of like explain to the viewers that I got into the space after having done all of that research and that implementation. I was exposed to an organization that was dealing more with just women's rights, and also seeing that dynamic. I said men were out working, women were there, staying with the baby. So whoever has the money in the household usually calls the shots. So basically, the issue of feminism is just purely about that. It says, give me an opportunity as well to play a part in whatever space or area within society, so that I too can have a voice on the table. And African feminism is different to the world over because of developmental issues. Like we just said, we have Eswatini said 20% rural, about 70% rural. So you can see we're not that developed yet, but we're getting.
So development also affects this concept of African feminism in terms of what is being fought for, economic equality, and most a couple of other things. Because it's a whole broad conversation that we did not have. There's on the one hand you have those who talk about what equal opportunities, but then on the other hand, there's also been the strive for equal outcomes, which scares a lot of people. Equal opportunities. Every common sensical person should be in for equal opportunities.
Definitely.
But the outcomes, how do we measure that? This is some of the conversations. Again, a totally different conversation for another day. But I wanted to ask you, who should we be bringing? Who should be seated at the table? Who should we be inviting to the table when it comes to this issue of gender equality?
We should invite everyone. Everyone should be seated at the table. No one should be discriminated against, because what happens when in decision making is that the people who are more privileged to knowing about that space will be at the table and will make decisions for the people who are less privileged, instead of actually bringing those people to the table to say, what exactly is it that you think can help you? We've had a lot of programming that has failed because the people it was targeting were not at the table. In Eswatini, we've had a lot of incidences where we would come as civil society. Oh, we have a borehole for the community. There you go, we've installed the borehole, and the people are like, yeah.
This is what we need.
And they don't use it because you have not introduced yourself within that traditional structure, and you have not consulted the people within. So even with equal opportunity, it means men, women in every decision making, they need to have a voice. The mother out there selling tomatoes on the street, the woman CEO, the woman who's a stay-at-home mom, let's have them at the table, because no one is homogeneous. The men are also not homogeneous. Men want different things.
Women want different things. And the bottom line is we're not there yet. Well, I wish I had more time for this, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Tunde, for having me on your show.
All right. And that's the size of the show today on the Changemaker series. And the bottom line is you are enough. You can start where you are. You can be the change you want to say. And it's a mic drop. Let's do this again. Who am I bringing in? You'd have to stay tuned and watch this space to find out. My name is Babatunde Kuala. Bye.